Shalom, and welcome to another edition of Great Millstone Mailbag, here to feed the elect through the spirit and power of Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai. All praises and glories due. Now, in this edition, I have a very simple message, and it's mainly to the younger brothers of Great Millstone, and that is to learn order. Learn order. Because without order, you have disorder. And disorder leads to chaos. And the scriptures have a lot to say about order. Now, I have a couple of examples. The first example is based upon an observation that Apostle Elder Ramlab and myself observed. And then the second example comes directly from the Holy Scriptures. And both examples will teach you order. And by the time you're done watching this video, you will consider order. And like I said, this message is to the young brothers of Great Millstone, mainly. All right, so the first example. Now, I've told this story before, and I'm not sure if Apostle Elder Ramlab has told the story, but we were both present to witness this, and it has to do with birds. Okay. Now, we had just left our homes on our way down to meet up with Elder Sakaran to go out and do the work, go out on the highways and the byways. So, me or myself and Elder Apostle Ramlab, we're sitting inside the car waiting for Elder Sakaran to to join us so we can go down to the city and do the work. And as we were sitting waiting for Elder Sakaran to come out of his home, we noticed that there was pieces of bread all over the street and some on the sidewalk. And when you look above those pieces of bread in the trees, and it's a area where there's a lot of trees, and the street was not a particularly busy street, busy with traffic. So we look above the pieces of bread in the trees and we see all these birds. So naturally, myself and Elder Apostle Ramlab, we're saying to ourselves, why don't these birds fly down and get the bread? The bread's right there. What's stopping them from getting the bread? And all of a sudden, well, not too long after we reasoned that way, a couple of birds that were not part of all the group of birds that were in the trees, they flew from wherever they came from. It was two of them, two birds. And they swoop right down on the bread. And then after a little while, the rest of the birds in the trees started coming down one by one. And when we saw that, we marveled. The moral we got out of that was order. Whoever those two birds were, it's evident that they were ahead of the pack of birds. Or the flock of birds, I should say. It's evident that they were above the other birds, because the other birds show them respect. The other birds show them order. And we witnessed this. And you can ask Elder Apostle Ramlab. He was right there. He witnessed it right along with me. And the moral we got out of that was order. And you got some people that say bird brains. Birds are pretty smart. Okay? When I saw that, that helped to change my opinion of birds. And like I say, with the animals, you can learn a lot about animals, their different nature. Remember, their nature was given to them by Yahweh Bar Shem Yahweh Shai. And the scriptures have a lot to say about different animals. Okay, so that's my first example dealing with order. All right. Now, in the book of John, the 20th chapter, the first verse, it says this. This is the second example, and this has to do with the Holy Scriptures, right? The first day of the week cometh Mary Magdalene early, when it was yet dark, unto the sepulchre, and seeth the stone taken away from the sepulchre. Now this has to do with the resurrection of Yahweh Shai. Then she runneth, and cometh to Simon Peter, head disciple, right? And to the other disciple whom Yahweh Shai loved. Now we know that that disciple is John, okay? The one that lied in Yahweh Shai's bosom, all right? Meaning it had his head resting on Yahweh Shai's chest during the Passover. Yahweh Shai and John were very close, okay? Yahweh Shai and John, or John was a lot closer to Yahweh Shai than Peter, okay? But that is the nature of things. Then she runneth and cometh to Simon Peter and to the other disciple whom Yahweh Shai loved, and saith unto them, They have taken away the Lord out of the sepulchre, and we know not where they have laid him. Peter therefore went forth, and that other disciple, who's that other disciple? John, okay? By the way, it's John that wrote this account here, because this is the book of John. This is the same John that is talking about in this chapter here. This is the same John that the disciple that Yahweh Shai loved, all right? Third verse, Peter therefore went forth, and that other disciple, and came to the sepulchre. So they ran both together. Now you got to, again, I always stress about visualizing what you read. You have to visualize what you read. That little movie got to be playing in your head as you read it. And that forces you to get into it. Where do you think directors get their inspiration from? They might read a story and decide to do a movie on it because they see the pictures in their mind as they read the story. So it's no different with us, brothers. We visualize what we read, okay? Vision is very important. So let's do some visualizing. John, the 20th chapter, the 4th verse. So they ran both together, and the other disciple did outrun Peter. So you got to picture this. You got to picture Peter running, and you got to picture John running. Now, John outruns Peter. Okay? John outruns Peter and came first to the sepulchre. So John outruns Peter, right? And he reaches the sepulchre, which is a tomb where Yahweh Shai was laying. But Yahweh Shai had already been taken out of the tomb, raised up and taken out of that tomb, right? Just like he said he would. And he stooping down, this is John, right? He outruns Peter. He gets to the sepulchre. Now he's stooping down. He's looking inside the sepulchre. And he stooping down and looking in, saw the linen clothes lying, yet went he not in. So wait a minute. John outruns Peter, but he doesn't go inside the sepulchre. He's looking, with his anxiety got the best of him, plus his immense love for Yahweh Shai, but he looks down inside the sepulchre and does not go in. Now why is that? Let's read on. Then cometh Simon Peter following him. So finally Simon Peter catches up with John, right, who outran him. Then cometh Simon Peter following in, and went into the sepulchre. He just went in. Peter just went in. He didn't stop like John did and looked inside the sepulchre. Peter just went in. Then cometh Simon Peter following him, and went into the sepulchre, and seeth the linen clothes lie, and the napkin that was about his head, This is talking about the clothing or the items of clothing that Yahushua wore when he was crucified. Or I'm sorry, not when he was crucified, but when he was laid in the tomb after his crucifixion. And the napkin that was about his head, not lying with the linen clothes, but wrapped together in a place by itself. Then went in also that other disciple, that's John, right? Which came first to the sepulchre, and he saw and believed. So my question is this: why didn't John just went into the sepulchre? He clearly outran Peter, but he didn't go into the sepulchre. He waited for Peter to get to the sepulchre. Peter went into the sepulchre, and then John. What's the moral behind this? Order. John understood order, and the Holy Spirit set it up for this to be written as an example to us for order. It's about order. See, John knew in the scheme of things that Peter was over him, that Peter was the head disciple, even though John was more beloved by Yahushua than Peter. So this is a great example to us for order. When you read this in its context and you extrapolate from what's being said here, you see it screams order. So we can learn from this. This is order. Now, before I go, there's a couple of scriptures that adds to that. The book of 1 Corinthians 15 and 23. This is the words of the Apostle Paul to the Israelites in Corinth, Greece. He says this: but every man in his own order, Yahushua the first fruits, afterward they that are Yahushua at his coming. So if we go in the order of things, Peter is the head, and then the Apostle John. And the Apostle John clearly understood this. That's why when he went to the sepulchre, he outran Peter. He didn't just go into the sepulchre. No matter how anxious he was, he calmed his anxiety to respect order. He calmed his anxiety to respect order. Okay? And finally, the book of 1 Corinthians 14 and 40, it says, let all things be done decently and in order. So I say to you young brothers, especially you young brothers, learn order. Order.